The story behind the case competition was to develop a real-life case study. The basic idea is to invite a company to come in, share a problem with the students, and then the students would work in teams to try to address that problem. So the idea was actually, as a learning outcome, to develop their problem-solving skills. The other thing was to work in teams, and to work in teams in a virtual environment. So most of them, until we had the award ceremony, never met.
When I was here, I remember some of the most memorable classes and experience that I went through was when we either had an adjunct professor or a professor like Eusebio would bring somebody in from the business environment, because it really connected the dots to what really happens out in the world and what we're learning in the classroom. And when Eusebio reached out and said, hey, I'm a fan of your industry, I want to try to put something together that's innovative and that we can get our students engaged in learning in different ways and contributing, I was on board.
And this is probably the most important, was to apply the concepts we were developing through the course into a real business problem.
So naturally, we had an enormous amount of conversation around how we could connect some of the theories and the dialogue that we were talking about. And Eusebio just, midway through the conversation, I think he said, this is the business case.
The challenge, is basically how do you bring a guest lecturer into a online classroom? Each team had a forum that they could interact, right? And to come with questions that they would like to know more about to be able to solve the problem. So then those questions were sent back to many.
Now, you can dedicate the time that you need to give it your 110% at the time that's convenient for you to do that.
I believe the technology plays a role to actually enhance the learning experience and provide opportunities to expand the learning experience.
Whenever you volunteer, you get a good feeling from that, but if you can contribute both from your time and money, I think that's when you have the perfect situation. And this was one of those, right? So I was able to put my personal thumbprint on this project, but more importantly, and I'm very proud of this, that my company stepped up as well and contributed some funding to motivate the individuals. Verizon Foundation provided a scholarship for the winners of the project.
I think the key benefit is that they come out of the course prepared to the situations that we will have in the workplace. The key thing here is to always think about how we can use the technology for a positive outcome.
I think there was really clear winners, and just to see the passion and being able to interact with them and hear them, and these are some really bright individuals that are going to go far, and UB, I think, is going to facilitate that.